Country podcast.
What the fuck just happened? We had a exhilarating win against the Patriots. And then we trade Robert Quinn. And then we got our asses handed to us by the Cowboys. And then we trade Roquan Smith. And we turn the Roquan Smith trade into a trade for Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The kind of receiver that I think we all think we need. And we'll get into that in a moment because we have some breakdowns of some of the stuff that I want to talk about with him. But this show is the lowdown with Lynn Hayden. Lynn Hayden, we love this. She is one of the most exciting and funnest broads I've ever met. So let's bring her on. Lynn Hayden, you crazy young broad. How you doing over there?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. This has been a crazy, 7-8 days?
Yes.
I mean, wow.
I know. Since we talked last Wednesday, I mean, look what happened. A lot. I mean, a lot for the Chicago Bears. I'm telling you. So it was. But I like it, except for the game, obviously. But I like everything else, so.
These are the kinds of things that you do when you're building a team, though.
Yes.
You have to keep in mind your draft picks.
Yes.
And
yes.
we've talked about this. I love that Poles treats the draft picks like gold bars.
Yes.
And he didn't just trade away picks to go get Chase Claypool. He said,
no,
listen. And here's kind of something I wanted to show here because we talked about this last week on the show. And this is the moment that I want to bring up where I asked you, is it possible that they're going to trade Roquan Smith? And this is the moment.
I'm going to take a second for a second, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I'm going to take a second for a second, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I mean, the look on his face right there as he was doing one of these.
I know.
I'm not sticking around with this team after this year.
And you know what? Dan, the Bears saw that, and they saw he didn't step up in that game on Sunday. You did not hear his number played. And if he wants to be a Chicago Bear, he needs to put that leader hat on and take the spot of Quinn. And he didn't do it. And that told the Bears and Poles, no, he's not our guy.
Yeah, he was. You barely saw him in any of the plays. It's like he.
Nope.
It's like he. I don't want to say gave up, but it's like he just was. He had no emotion to play that game.
No. So you know what? Go ahead, man. You know what? Good luck to you. You got to remember he's his own free agent. No one wants to deal with that crap. Right. So the Bears knew that was a problem. They knew he was asking way too money. He is good, but he is not like the elite. And so you know what? I love it. He got 2 picks for it, and then he takes advantage of it and gets a receiver with one of the picks.
Right.
I mean,
and we
genius.
I was hoping it was going to be the Ravens pick that they got, but it was their actual own second-round pick. But still, we still have a second-round pick. It's just
that's the reason we got, because the Green Bay was between us and Green Bay. And the only reason they picked the Bears is they felt we were going to have a worse record, even though we're tied. But they're right. And you know what? I don't care because second round is you're going to get somebody good in the second round anyways. And
that's the one good thing we have going with us with Green Bay, right?
Right.
At least when it comes down to a trade like that, we can win it because they're expected to have the better record. So
right. And it's always best to screw Green Bay.
Any way you can, man.
I mean, I was so happy on Sunday night when Aaron Rodgers was sitting there, on the sidelines. It was nice. And we have the same damn record as they do. I mean, how sweet is that? So
we're tied for second.
I know. So you know what? I'm looking. I don't know if I told you that or my son. I'm like, I'm telling you, we're going to beat them in December in Wrigley Field, in Soldier Field for sure. Wrigley Field. I'm taking back the days when they used to play in Wrigley Field.
That's not the first time you've said that, though. Have you been to a Wrigley Field game?
Well, of course I have.
Like a Wrigley Field Bears game?
Oh no. My father-in-law used to go, and he said it was the coolest thing to see the bear. He goes, we were literally, you could pretty much touch them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they were right there. He goes, best experience. He saw him in 59, I think he said, and he said it was the coolest. I've got a really cool picture hanging in my house when they played at Wrigley Field, because my husband it was a Cubs fan. I was a Sox fan. I'm a Sox fan. So he's like, I figured that was the only way I was going to get a picture of Wrigley Field in my house. The Bears playing in it. He was right. But I always like, Northwestern plays there a lot. And when I lived in Illinois I always kind of wanted to go do that, because I always thought that would be a pretty good experience to see a football game.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool. I've never seen a football game in Wrigley Field.
Yeah, right. I mean, I wanted to see somebody
how they do the layout on the
well,
field.
it was like diagonal, my father-in-law said. And I was like, yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute. He goes, yeah, it was diagonal, because that was the only way they could get it, So, but pretty cool.
Brick wall almost when you score a touchdown.
Exactly. So, but yes, I mean, if anybody's bitching about what he did, they're not true Bears fans, or they don't know the game, because the Bears are doing what I haven't seen them do since the 80s, is they're building the team from the bottom up with youth. And that's what Jim Finks, the general manager, who was a genius in the 80s, did. And I saw the benefits. So, you got these guys. And the thing about Claypool, too, is he's got his rookie contract is not up until 23, the end of 23. So we're going to have him for a year and a half.
And he's young.
Yes, and he's young. He's 24, and he seems, I saw the press conference today, very excited to be here. He's like, obviously they wanted me. And if he proves to be, he'll be around along too. So I like it.
Speaking of him, let's just kind of take a look at some of the elements he's going to add to this team.
Oh,
I mean, these are the kind of jump balls that we've already seen this year that people couldn't come down with.
Right. Well, that,
whether it's Pettis or even Equanimeous St. Brown, I would have thought could have come down with a jump ball or two.
Exactly. But they don't. They can't. Well, that's what happened in Sunday's game. There was several times where Fields threw some pretty like something like this, really nice passes, and the guys didn't catch them. I mean, one was down on the 3-yard line, for Christ's sake. And I think that might have been 12 Jones, wasn't it? Was it Jones who dropped that one? I'm not sure.
Oh, of course it was him.
Yeah, 3-yard line, and it was a beauty. And so maybe he's going to be the one.
He alligator armed it. Oops, let me play that one more time.
Yeah, I mean,
these are the kinds of jump balls that we're going to get out of this kid. A number one receiver jump ball.
That's what we need to go over these defenders. The only thing is he is the same number as Mooney. So they were talking in his press conference. He's got to either take 10 or 17, he said. So I don't know which one he's going to take, but I don't care as long as he can, go and be that. So it'll be him, the number one, and Mooney will be number two. And
so he should take 10 then.
Yeah, I would. And then you watch, if Claypool does stick like we hope, Mooney is going to come back to what we've seen in the past. Because he's not necessarily the number one. I love the kid. I have his jersey. I love him. But I think it's a good compliment for him. And he'll relax. Right. Not all the pressure on him now. And you're going to see more completions.
You're right. Because he's, even though, there's a lot of people, myself included, that think he can be a number one wide receiver. We're starting to see now that, he can be schemed out by a defense, because he's just a little guy, man.
Right.
He's just a little guy. It's not his fault. He's a little guy with the heart of a 6'5", 240-pound wide receiver. But it's at the height and weight just not there. He's not going to be able to get those jump balls. Oh, we lost you. We lost your mic. Can't hear your mic anymore. Bada boom, bada bing.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. Oh, I have a new mic. I think I touched the mute by mistake.
You got one of those fancy mics, huh?
Not really. Do you remember back in the day? Are you old enough to remember Tom Waddle?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I forget. Years pass so fast.
I'm 47, so I've definitely seen Tom Waddle. I love
18
Tom
years
Waddle.
younger than me. Okay.
Yeah.
So he reminds me a little bit of a Tom Waddle, except for Tom went down the middle and caught anything anybody threw to him. But he wasn't a big guy. But like you say, heart of gold, huge heart of gold, wanted to be a Bear and contribute. And that's kind of what Mooney reminds me of a little bit,
You see him out there after a loss catching passes from a jugs machine. He has a fucking jugs machine in his house.
I know. I heard that.
So, I mean, and he's sitting there practicing one-handed catches with his jug machine in his living room. It's like
pretty cool.
The kid is dedicated. He's got the heart.
Yes, right. And that's what we need for next year when we make the run for the Super Bowl.
And Claypool, the addition of Claypool to this offense is going to make a difference. I really do believe it.
I think.
And you know what? And let's talk about the Roquan Smith trade. So who's going to take his place, right? I think that Jack Sanborn is going to just come in and be a tackling machine for him. I mean, that's all. Roquan was he was a tackling machine.
He was. But I will say, and he was, I will not take that away from him. But this particular year, the way his tackles are way up, it's because we have no defensive line. So they're not stopping him. So he's the next point of attack. So
excellent point.
Right. So, and that defensive line, that's another subject. We'll get on to that. But yes, my cousin's son went to school with Jack Sanborn in Lake Zurich. And he was telling me yesterday, now Jack is going to have his chance to shine. I said, well, let's find out if he's got it or not. Because my cousin says he is football smart. He's just, why he went undrafted, I don't know. But maybe his size, he's not huge.
The knocks on him are that he's not like quick and he's not huge.
Well,
he's not fast. He's not quick. He's not huge.
Not tall. I know that. But you know what? There was a player in the 80s for the Bears who played middle linebacker called Mike Singletary. He wasn't a tall man either.
No, he was like 6 foot.
Although very
6
smart,
foot 1.
but still. But he said, this guy's got the football smarts, and that's what we want.
Football IQ is what matters, and Jack Sanborn has that. He has. If you have an awareness of the ball and an instinct of where the ball is, and you're just following it and tracking it all over the place and making tackles.
Yep.
That's all we need you to do.
That's right. That's right. So I'd be good. So I like the chance that he's getting his chance. Let's see, next man up, what we got. We all know it's that kind of a year. So you might as well go all in with what you got. And then he's next year, Poles is going to be, I'm looking, I don't want the season to end, but I am looking for a first time, the draft. It's been a long time that I've really been looking forward to a draft. I mean, I always, pray and hope, but I never have a lot of confidence.
I know this regime gives you some confidence in that draft, don't they?
I mean, and the other thing is we're unloading all those terrible contracts that the last idiot gave these guys, because we were paying those. I mean, he worried about it. It's almost like he knew he wasn't going to be around. And it was terrible. So, that was the one thing about the Roquan Smith trade is we did pay off most of his contract.
Right.
For them to take him. But for the 2 picks and now what we got, a wide receiver out of it, I'm down with it. Totally. And the Bears saved a lot of money in the offseason, so they can afford it, Oh
my goodness. What's up, Mac? I used to work with this guy like forever ago.
Hi, Mac.
This is like the first time. So you must have this just came up and maybe it was the Facebook feed. Thanks for joining us, Mac.
Yeah, welcome.
No, you're right about Jack Sanborn is someone that I just think you get him in just plug and play him for the rest of the season and see what happens.
Absolutely. Regardless, mistakes or not. I mean, Gordon in the first couple games made a lot of mistakes, but he has cleaned them up as you've been seeing. They're still going to make them, the rookies, but they're in it, and him and Brisker, I mean, they each week they're learning, and that's what we need.
And to what you were saying about the previous regime, they put all their eggs in the basket in the Trubisky trade. Pace was certain that he was the quarterback. So then he goes and he trades away future draft picks for Mac, and he goes and signs Quinn to this big contract. He thought that the Super Bowl window was them. He was just wrong.
play wrong. He did not know what he was doing. I mean, clearly, because
Tariq Cohen. Yeah, thank you, Leo. A lot of money went to Tariq Cohen and Danny Trevathan.
Exactly.
I'm glad Tariq Cohen got his money though.
Foles is a second. We're still paying the Foles contract off.
Yeah. Fucking Andy Dalton, $10 million.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, to your point.
Exactly. What? I thought my brain was pickled. Hello. So exactly. And so they are doing it the right way now. And people say the Bears are cheap. I disagree with that. That used to be the day, back in the day. But really the last 20 to 15 years, they've spent money. It's just they did it wrongly and didn't have any luck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this Poles and Coach Flus and all the other guys know what they're doing. I mean, so far.
And we've seen him turn 5 picks into 11. How many how many of those players are playing right now on this team? Yep. You got a 5th round. Jones came out of nowhere. He was one of those trade picks. He's our starting left tackle.
Yep.
You've got however many other people on the Robinson is playing, Gordon, Brisker.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Felix Jones is even playing. He's not succeeding very well.
No.
But he's playing.
Well,
so
maybe with another really good wide receiver in the bunch, maybe he'll learn. Maybe he'll step up a little bit, like, competition.
Yeah, this is a wash season for him.
Well, yes, and it is. So now there's a lot more football to be had because now we're going to see, the only problem is that defensive line really concerns me because Quinn did take, as much as you didn't hear his name, he did take at least 1 or 2 guys out of the picture each week. We don't have anybody like that. The closest maybe would be number 93, Justin Jones. But
Gibson's playing okay.
Gibson, he does it. Yes, Gibson's got flashes. I wish he'd be just a little bit more consistent.
Robinson's actually has had some flashes too. He had a tip ball for the interception.
That's true.
What was it, last week or the week before? But yeah, I mean, I think that they saw that on the defensive line and they thought, okay, definitely we'll get a 4th round. I mean, if you look at it, I saw somebody put on Twitter something about how, they're paying $7 million of his contract still. And the way I looked at it is the Bears paid the Philadelphia Eagles $7 million for their 4th round draft pick in next year. That's how I look at it.
Yes.
And I'll take it.
Right.
I mean, the more draft picks.
You mean Ravens?
No, I mean the Robert Quinn trade.
Oh, the Robert Quinn. Well, yeah.
Yeah, they traded him. They traded him for a $4 million 4th round draft pick, and they're paying the $7 million remainder of his contract, which basically equals out to, we gave you $7 million for your 4th rounder next year.
Right.
I mean,
that's exactly
what they voted out the remainder of his contract for the Eagles.
They did.
He's gonna be a free agent. So he might not even re-sign with them. He could come back to the Bears.
Play another down in football. So especially if they go to the Super Bowl and win it, he ain't playing another down. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So,
but he didn't really show up. He didn't show up on tape in the Eagles game either. So I'm happy with that trade.
Oh, I had none. That one didn't bother me. And really, we talked about this before. Roquan didn't bother me either because I just didn't see it. I
didn't see it coming either. I mean, I didn't see it happening in the future with them re-signing him. I really didn't.
I didn't either. And after Sunday's game, I said it to my son before this happened. I just said he didn't step up. And I go, he goes, you're right. You never heard his number. I go, you didn't see him or you didn't hear his number. And I said, right there, that tells the Bears. Poles said, no. Now, if that guy had been the one, he stepped up, they might have stuck with him, but they knew they weren't going to sign him.
He came out and had 22 tackles and an interception and a forced fumble or something. You would have been like, oh, this guy's committed to
playing with us.
Yeah.
And he because he knows anybody on that team, if they don't know it's a rebuild, they're a moron, I mean, my God.
Mac says, sorry, Dan, I live in Cincinnati now. I got dragged into being a Bengals fan from being a Bears. Oh, then you weren't really a Bears fan, Mac.
No, you were not, because I moved to Vegas and Dan moved to Atlanta and Colorado, and he stayed a Bears fan and I stayed a Bears fan. So
Mac, I even own Falcons season tickets just for when the Bears come here. I have a built-in game to go to. That's how big of a Bears fan I am. Not because I want to go to the Falcons games. I just sell the rest of the tickets.
There you go. See, Mac, you need to learn something. Well, and Mac, probably not so happy after Monday night because your Cincinnati Bengals look pretty sad. They got creamed.
Did they really? I wasn't actually. I was doing a podcast and I didn't.
It was yes, you were. I know because I was going back and forth. I think it was like 32-10 or something, and the 10
Holy
points
shit.
were scored in like the last 5 minutes of the game, so they don't even count.
Wait, who beat them?
Cleveland.
Oh god damn! Wait, was that Did what's his name come back for that game?
Who?
The quarterback, Watson.
Oh God, no, he's not due back until December.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, his suspension isn't up. Quite honestly, he should have been suspended the whole year, but whatever.
Well, it came out with like a 6 game, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And then they changed it to something else. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it's December. I don't know when in December, maybe the first or second week, but we'll see. The guy hasn't played in 2 years, so we'll see how he plays.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't practice, so.
Yeah, true. So I mean, there's no reason to even talk about this Cowboys loss. I mean, it's just we've already talked about the trades. We all agree that there were some good moves done by Poles. I'm loving what he's doing. Like you said, we haven't seen this in forever, and this is what it takes to build a team. And I'm excited. I'm excited moving forward.
This is the way to do it. You can't kill the Bears for 20-something years or longer, but just plugging. And you just can't do it. And if you get these guys on these rookie contracts, you got them for 4, maybe 5 years. You don't have to pay them a shit ton of money, which I really like when they changed that. And this is the way to do it because you're going to see what if you like them and they're great, then you're going to pay them. Especially if we go to the playoffs next year and then the Super Bowl. But I just want to go to the playoffs. That was the one point as I wanted to say to you. You were talking on Monday. I know you're a dreamer. I love you, man. That's why I love you. But the thing is about the Bears, even if they won here and there and they got in, it would have to be a wild card. They would lose the first one. And I am not a fan of one and done.
How dare you, Lynn?
I'm not. I mean,
how dare you?
If you sneak in,
anything can happen come on, any given Sunday, Lynn. Anything can. Once you're in the playoffs, it's one and done.
Well, I agree.
The team could have a bad game,
but
hey, look at the fucking Giants in 2007. Come on.
I know, great game. I know they beat the undefeated New England Patriots, who went 18-0 to that point. I get it, and. If they did win, okay, but most likely it'd be one and done. And our draft picks would be higher. So right now, we need to work on the future.
I know what you're saying, though. You don't want to back into the playoffs like 2019, like in shame, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But if we didn't back into the playoffs.
Well, yes, that'd be hold up. Now, if all of a sudden things turn around and we start whipping butts, well, then it'd be a whole nother. But we ain't got a defensive line, and we don't have an offensive line.
And by the way, in that game that the 2019 Bears snuck into the playoffs, Trubisky had a fucking, ironically, the best pass of his entire career to Javon Wims in the end zone on that flea flicker that he just went right through the breadbasket. I mean, that was the best. Ironically, in his last game as a Bear, he threw one of his best passes. If he catches that pass, that game turns into a different game.
And
they could have won that game.
And
just saying.
That idiot kicker can make the kick.
Yeah.
Instead of his fucking double doinks.
Yeah, the year before. Oh, God.
If I hear that again, from Chris Collinsworth, I'm going to bitch slap that man.
Chris Collinsworth needs to get double doinked, if you know what I mean.
He definitely needs to get double doinked.
I think that's the word they call it.
You know what? Did you watch the game on Sunday? Did you stay for the whole thing? I mean, I did, of course.
Oh God, it was hard.
We do shows, so we have to. But I will say, I really love Daryl Johnston. He was saying some nice stuff in the fourth quarter about the Bears, and it was encouraging. And usually they're being made fun of or put down, or all they're doing is talking about the other team. But he said some real, and he's like, he said it was his third game, and he goes, and I've seen improvement each week since I've seen him. And it was like, man, how refreshing for once,
It's interesting that you said that because I noticed that too. I was thinking to myself, I like Daryl Johnson.
Yeah. And he's played, man, look what he played. He played with one of well, I know he's got the record, but he's still the second best. I'm sorry, Walter's still the best. But he's got, he played fullback and he opened the lanes for Emmitt Smith a lot. So, he knows what he's talking about. He was on some teams.
He's a guy that I'm surprised hasn't gone up the ranks faster like a Troy Aikman did, or because he's been broadcasting for a while. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's all about who you are, who your face, and he's not overly.
Oh, by the way, if you're talking about faces, can we talk about Troy Aikman, by the way? I mean, 90% of the time that you look at him, he looks like he's about to fucking explode.
Or he looks wasted.
I mean, he looks like he is just swelling and red to the point where like one more pound of pressure or a quarter pound of pressure and just bang, it's going to blow up.
I wonder if he's
I'd rather see Daryl Johnson's mug than his.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a fan of Adam Amin either. You could tell that Emmitt Smith was like, yeah, thanks a lot, buddy, and like whatever your name is.
I saw that.
Adam Amin had to be like, this is weird, talking to Emmitt Smith right now.
I know. Yeah, and him and Daryl are like hugging, and
they're all like buddy, and then he's like, yeah,
I know. I know exactly. Actually, today, speaking of Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton, it is 19 years ago today that Walter passed away.
Yes, so it is the 11th.
He is. I know, love that man. I mean, who didn't love him? He was a good man, a good bear, and a good person. So big fan. But yeah, it was nice to hear somebody say something nice about the Bears. So I think a lot of people.
That I would have worn my Peyton jersey for this. Damn it.
Oh, I know. I should have done that too. I have one too. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking, but I think a lot of people are starting to be believers in the Bears out there. That they're doing the right thing. This and this, and Fields is getting better each week. We saw last week he didn't throw any interceptions.
The national media is starting to buy into Justin Fields now, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I mean,
finally.
There was an interception, but it got taken away, so it does not count. So he did not do that, and he more comfortable.
He seems to be seeing the field a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. The
ball's coming out of his hand a little bit faster.
Still, there was a couple of throws. So like yesterday, and on the Sunday, I'm like, throw it.
I did too. I'm like, no, throw it now. Then you see him start to run. You're like, fuck, we're doing this again.
Exactly. So he's still, what? They're going to work that out. I am sure of it. Next year, he's not going to be doing that because each game he is getting better at it. But you can see it. If you know what we know what we're talking about, so we know.
And we're experts.
Well, pretty close.
We're expert Bears fans, that's for sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm hardly an expert, but I'd like to think I am. It's refreshing. I mean, the first couple games, I was getting a little worried, I won't lie. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again, but he had to shake off that rust from that last regime, and it takes time.
Takes time to learn a new offense.
Right. A whole new offense. Right. And of course our, offensive line. So, but the one thing I forgot there, I wanted to go back real quick about Claypool, which is really cool, is him and Clement, our tight end, as you know, both went to Notre Dame and they know each other.
Yes, that's true. Good point. Yes.
Yeah. So that he even said it's nice having somebody in the building. And I think he also knows Sam Mustipher. Did he go to Notre Dame?
He did. Yes, he did.
Okay. So he said he said they've hooked me up with a realtor. He's like, and I thought, okay, that's cool.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
It's good. Like, ooh, this is good little karma going on here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And rather than trade him to a team that he's only going to have a good quarterback for a year or two, they traded him to a team where he's going to have a quarterback for the next 10 years.
That's what we're hoping,
yes,
and,
we're hoping, yes.
Once he, Justin's going to come out. I mean, he's going to get better and better this year, but next year he's going to come out and just blow everybody away, I think. And then that's
by year 2 in this offense. I think by the end of the season.
I think so.
Into year 2, it's going to be some fun shit to watch.
I will not lie, though. I was just a tad worried that he was going to break up the duo of 24 Herbert and Montgomery 32. I just pray that he does not, because this has been.
He can't.
Well, not this year, but you could do it in the off season. I don't want him to do that, because what he has done has made it so much easier for Fields. And I mean, we're first in run. I mean, this is our third 200-yard game. That hasn't happened since 1968.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I was 10. I mean,
well, it helps when your quarterback's rushing for 80+ yards a game.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, he's second. It's Herbert, him, and then Montgomery. Montgomery did miss a game. So, but those two, and they're different running backs, but Montgomery's got a lot of receiving yards. He's got close to 200. So it's showing that they're starting to use Montgomery a little bit more on that, which I love a lot.
Did you hear about the trade rumors for Montgomery?
No.
The rumor was Cam Akers from the Rams and like a 5th-round pick. So we would have swapped running backs and then.
Oh no! Why would you swap running backs? Stupid. Now that would have been a what's his name? I can't think of his name. The oldie GM. That would have been a move he did.
Emery?
No, our last GM.
Oh, Pace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would have been that would have been a move. Yeah, no, these two are so important to Justin's development and the fact that we have no offensive line. It's saving us right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, being first in the league at anything right now, considering it's hilarious. We're first in rush and we're dead last in pass.
Opposite ends of the spectrum, right?
It really is. And I really think Justin, I didn't look this week. I know he has 31 sacks. I think he could be leading the league being sacked.
He probably is. He's got to.
And that breaks my heart. That's got to stop.
It has to stop. You're just seeing him.
Yeah.
It's getting really harder and harder for him to get up off the field, isn't it?
It really will. And we don't need an injury. I mean,
right.
That is the last thing we can deal with right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, not that we're going anywhere, but you want them to stay in these games because it's experience. Yes. Mm-hmm. Day in and day out, whether he's going to get hit, it's just going to build him up more.
It's development.
And yeah, definitely. So I don't know, we don't really need to talk about last week's game because we
don't. Actually, let's move on to the Dolphins game. Yeah, how are you feeling about this one?
And you, my friend, are going to that game.
I am.
And I'm thinking maybe you'll bring us some luck because you were at the San Francisco game.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I
don't know what the weather. Do you know what the weather's supposed to be like in Chicago?
I don't. I think last time I checked. Let's look right now. I think it's supposed to rain.
Oh God! Again? Now it'll be a cold rain. It will not be a warm rain like the September game.
No, that will not be a good rain at all.
No.
Oh no! It says 80% chance on Saturday, and it says sunny skies on Sunday. So
what's the temp? It's got to be 60s, right?
Sunday is 64.
Oh, if that isn't a perfect game, you put on a jersey, a little heavy shirt under. You don't need nothing else, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because your energy and excitement is going to keep you warm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That is awesome.
$13 beers.
Yeah, no shit. But it's going to be a tough game because Tua is throwing all over the field, man.
Did I tell you this? That with those Falcons season tickets I have, that I went there and I got a cheeseburger, a chicken finger basket with fries, a beer, and a water for $13.
What?
At the Falcon Stadium.
Holy
crap. Fucking prices are through the floor. I mean, it's incredible how low everything is. That's one beer at Soldier Field.
Yeah. When I was at the Raiders game last year and I saw the Bears, it was a 24-ouncer, but it was, I think, $12, $13, $14.
They're the big cans, but still $13.
Honestly, I don't like them because it gets warm by the time you're down, and I don't like a warm beer.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, I always leave a little backwash. I never drink my backwash. Just a little helpful hint for people out there. And I've been partying a long time. Backwash gives you hangovers. Don't drink it.
You've come up with that thesis throughout the years, huh?
Oh yeah, it's true.
All right, so that's the word of the wise. Just
there's your wisdom from the day from Lynn. But yeah, I just saw somebody write the Bears defense can't let Miami run on them. No. They gave up 200 yards on Sunday. They cannot allow that. That's for sure. I mean, and their best runner wasn't even in the game.
Yeah.
So, no, if they could hold them, although our back end had a little problems, mostly number 22, Veldor, was picked on a lot in that game. So they found the weak link, which we all know it has been him. This is the first team that's really exposed it, though. On Sunday was number 22, because, the other guys where you got JJ, Eddie Jackson, Gordon, and Brisker, they're solid.
Right.
So,
yeah,
but Tua can.
Johnson barely has anything thrown his way. They're picking on Vildor.
They sure are. And I believe I was taking notes from my Friday show, and they're running around 88 yards a game, Miami. I don't know where that ranks, but so let's keep them to under 100. If the Bears can do that, and then we can worry about the pass. So we don't have to worry about both.
The pass is the scary thing. They are fast as hell.
They surely are. So, and it's not going to be cold, so the weather's not going to make any difference. They're going to like the weather because it's not going to be so damn hot,
Right.
They're a tough team. There's no doubt about it. And they made some trades too.
Yeah, they did. They upgraded their team. And
yesterday there was 12 people traded. They said that hasn't happened in over 30 years at the deadline.
It's crazy, right?
Yes.
You know why? It's because all the kids that were my age were going, why don't they ever defer the ball on the coin toss? Now we're seeing that happen all the time.
Right.
B, why don't they make trades? There's never.
I know they never used to in football.
It's like
never.
In Major League Baseball, there's trades all the time, but we never see trades in the NFL. And now we're seeing somehow they figured out this way because of the salary cap. And you draft a wide receiver in the first round, you get to that 5th year you decline the 5th year. You don't want to pay him $150 million and trade him for 2 first-round draft picks.
Exactly.
What the fuck is going on? It's crazy.
I know. And then, like we did, we got a rookie who's still got a year and a half.
I think you hit your mute button again.
Better.
You got a rookie that what? Yeah.
We got a rookie now who's still on a year and a half of it. The receiver is still a year and a half on his rookie contract, which gives us plenty of time to evaluate him. So, because the rookie contracts aren't, as we mentioned earlier, large, like in the day how they used to do that. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden that huge cap, the amount of cap space that we have at the end of the season is a lot bigger now, right? We don't have to pay Roquan $25 million a year just to keep him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I gotta say that, and I know a lot of people don't like Roger Goodell, but he has made some pretty good, and this was one of them, to get it where, they aren't doling out, $200 million for a guy that's never stepped foot on the field.
I know. Remember back in the 90s, it's you draft a running, like Kajana Carter got, first pick in the draft, no matter what it was. If you're the first pick in the draft, you're getting a $200 million contract out the gate and you suck.
You suck or you were hurt and it's over, and that's it. That had to change.
They did a great job of awarding the veterans and awarding the players that come out of. Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money in this range and you get the 5th year option in the first year, but you got to prove yourself to get that second contract,
Especially with running backs coming out of college. I believe this. I have a real big thought on this, and I've only talking about the last 20 years because that's when I really started watching college and stuff. In my opinion, I really want to look this up, but the life of a running back in, let's say, last 10 years or so is not that long anymore. And my belief is they're running them too much in college. Back, years and years ago, they didn't do that. And I don't know if it's because they couldn't or they just didn't. But by the time they make it to the NFL, their legs are gassed. And these running backs are not lasting. They don't have lasting careers. You might have 1 or 2. There's always that. But on the whole, and that's something I'm going to investigate. We could talk about it later.
The Todd Gurley's of the world and things like that. Yeah.
These guys are, they just don't last. So, and that's why they don't get paid a lot. So, but in the day, if Barkley came out 15 years ago, he would have gotten $200 million.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And
he would have been the first pick in the draft 25 years ago.
Yeah. Exactly. So
a lot of running backs would have been. Even what's his name on the Titans probably would have been, 25 years ago.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he's a beast. I bet he lasts, but some of these guys just don't, they run out of gas. And,
And that's why I love Montgomery. I think he is the kind of player that has some special traits to him that it's worth keeping him on your team.
100%. I mean, you never hear anything negative. He's quiet. He puts his head down. He practices. He plays. He could catch the ball. And the other thing is he can block.
Mm-hmm. He's the epitome of a Bears running back.
Right.
Keep the guy. Just work something out with him.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I like him a lot. He made a nice block actually on Sunday for Justin. They even replayed it. Daryl Johnson's like, we got to show this again. And I was like, cool. And it was a nice block, and it helped him. He got the ball off. So, that's a perk right there.
Yep. It's all the little things he does that make him a fucking fantastic running back, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I don't want them to break those two up. That's a luxury what we have right now. I mean, holy God, we haven't had that since Walter and Matsui.
Right.
For two. I mean, we've had running backs. We have Anthony Thomas and those guys. Yes, but I mean, two solid. He was a fullback, but still, what I mean.
But this 1-2 punch is working, and I see no reason to break it up.
Oh God, no! Please, that's the one thing. Please don't.
I know there's a lot of people that think, we just get another running back in the draft, but there's something a little bit more special to David Montgomery than there is.
And we got a diamond in the rough with Herbert 2 years ago. So he's only on his second year, right?
Yeah, we got him last year. Yeah.
So here's another guy who could be 3 more years because you got 4 with the option of 5. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing about Claypool. I don't know if he was drafted at 19, so that makes it. Is that with the option of the 5th year?
Claypool, I'm not sure what round he was drafted in. I think he was a second. I don't think it was a first round pick, so he wouldn't have the 5th year option.
Oh, you're right.
So he has 1 more year, and then they can decide what to do with him from there.
Well, and you know what?
I mean, if he comes out and lights it up this season, they'll just probably give him a contract,
Right then and there. They might, And I think he's happier because he's come to a team that doesn't have a quarterback controversy.
Right.
Like they're having in Pittsburgh. They can't make up their mind what they want to do there. And now they're calling for Tomlin's head. And he's been there forever, right? Yeah.
They've had like 3 head coaches since the 70s or whatever.
Yeah, pretty. I don't even. Yeah, what's his name? And then the guy on the morning show, and then this guy. I think you're right.
Yeah,
it's I mean, and look at the Bears.
In my lifetime.
The Bears. How many have they had in our lifetime? Holy crap! I don't even know. It's
absurd.
Yeah, it is absurd. But yeah,
I wish we could be like the Steelers.
Yes, I know. I always did. You know what? They're very grounded. Well, they're in some ways a little bit like the Bears because it's family owned and this and that. But
they seem to have their shit together. They always
the owners are very special.
Every draft, you can tell who's going to be a Steeler, and then he ends up being a Steeler, and you can tell who's. It's like Roquan Smith, perfect for a Raven. He would have been perfect for the Steelers too. But I can't really see him going to like Jacksonville or something.
No, exactly. No, exactly. So he's going to do well there. And I wish him all the best. I got no ill will on him. It was a best move. And look he's going to a team that's going to try to go to the playoffs, so.
And let them deal with his no agent,
Yeah, let them deal with it.
Signing.
Actually, isn't the quarterback in the same boat? Their quarterback?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Oh my God, they got 2 of them. And his contract's up too. Oh, good luck to that. Yeah, I bet he's not signing there.
I bet you he's not.
No.
So this Dolphins game, in the beginning of the season, I had this a win because I see them coming from Miami. I know how freaking hot it is there and humid, and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be colder than 64. And I wasn't counting on all these trades that they were just about to do, nor was I counting on, Roquan being traded either. Oh, no, wait, look at this. I have to block this. Go ahead. Talk for a second while I block this crap.
Okay. One of those things. Yeah, no, I understand. I thought we could have wanted to, but now the way they're playing, I like Tua. He is really playing well. They seem to be, although their coach looks like he's 12 years old, but every time I see him, I'm like, how old is this guy? Have you seen him?
Wait, who's coach?
The Miami coach?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Mike McDaniels.
Yeah, it's the little guy, right? With the glasses?
Yeah. Look at a little nerdy guy.
He's 22. I said 12. I realistically, I was like, is he 22? I mean, you just don't see anybody that young.
I know. He was one of those guys that I had kind of pegged as like, why aren't the Bears interviewing him? You know, and then he comes in and
look what he did.
Flips this team around in 1 year. And
I know. So they're playing well.
Fucking scary.
You know, if the Bears defense of line can stop the run like we talked about, keep them to 100, they don't run a lot because they got a passing game. Then if we can eliminate the run, then let's just work on the pass. I think we have a chance. I really do. Even with him being a good passer, if we make them a one function team on Sunday, and you know they keep the penalties out. Well, they only had 6 penalties on Sunday, but some of them were damaging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about that on my show on Friday. I mean, there was a drive. Well, that Montgomery fumble. I'm telling you. They had a penalty before that, which pushed them back 20 yards. So it was like, what, 2nd and 25. They go back 25 yards. We don't have that penalty. He doesn't fumble that ball because he's not running
to try to get a first down.
Yeah, he could see that first down marker. And he's like, and then the guy just came out and punched it. He didn't fumble it. It got punched out. A fumble's a fumble. I get it. But penalty doesn't happen. I'm telling you, fumble doesn't happen.
And I can't even get pissed off at him for it because as I'm watching it happen in real time, I'm like,
no, that's what I mean. He was just trying to get that first down. And then the worst part about that play was nobody fucking touched him.
Right.
Okay. You guys are young. This is the NFL, not college. Yeah. You gotta touch them. I mean, I am sure that's the first thing they heard when they came into camp, you know? And so Justin, he jumped over him.
I know that one. Ugh.
I mean, you know what? Maybe they still would have scored, but maybe not. And then we're still with it. I mean, at one point in that game, we were 5 points within.
That's another one that I can't blame Justin Fields for jumping over him. He's just an athletic guy. He had to assume he was touched and he was down. He was just like,
exactly.
He jumping over him to avoid.
But the rest of the players are just standing around, you know. I would, you know what, if I were Flus on Monday, I would have been like, you know, anybody was standing around, I would have making them doing extra laps. Anybody was standing around watching him run right by him, I would have made him do extra laps for not remembering that. Justin, not so much. He didn't want to get hurt.
I would have made him do laps around the field before they came into the fucking locker room into the game.
Well, yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it's those two plays that were the difference in the game.
Yeah, it really, you know, we've talked about this, you know, 1 or 2 catches, like those couple beautiful passes he threw, they catch them and we score. Momentum is everything in the National Football League. We know that, you know.
Although I will say this on the catch that Velus Jones dropped, they still ended up driving down the field and scoring a touchdown on that drive, which actually ended up working out in their favor because with the way that the fucking Cowboys are running, just moving the ball down our throats. If we would have given them the ball, if we would have scored right there and given them the ball back with like 3-4 minutes to go, they would have scored again.
They would have scored. Yes.
So it kind of helped us out in his favor that he did drop it, meaning that we got to like burn more clock and still score.
Yeah, because
they got the ball back with like 40 seconds at the end of the half.
Because you were right, Dallas was scoring within minutes of touching that ball. Oh. We won the time of possession. It was 36 minutes to 22.
Yeah.
And my son was like, no way. I go, yes. I looked it up everywhere because I didn't believe it either. And I looked at more sites. And I was like, well, wait a minute. It makes sense. Because every time they touch it, it was like, there was no ever 3 and outs.
They were like the 90s 49ers. Just like boom, 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 boom.
Yes. Boom. Exactly.
Like they had Jerry Rice and fucking Terrell Owens and Steve Young, you know?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So, you know, you're right, though. You're right about that. So, but I didn't realize they had scored. I was just so damn mad. And, you know, part of it is I just want these guys to catch these long balls of Justin.
Yeah, I know. Because
beautiful.
And I thought that they were going to, I said before the game to my buddy who's actually texting me right now, funny, that I said, I think Velus Jones is going to be, they're going to game plan around him this game. And then you saw him with the end around. He had a couple of like running plays and then they went deep to him. I love that
running play. Loved it.
They went deep to him. I'm like, oh, here it is. And he just, instead of going like that, he just went like that.
He's got to catch him because they will throw to him more. But I love that because he got 33 yards on that play. That was, you know, I didn't like some of the quirky plays they did. I know I didn't like that double pass one. And then they got a penalty on it and everything. You know what? you're not that good. So let's keep it, if you want to do, the pass around like he did, that was a great play, that run. Great. Right. So Luke, as I call him, doesn't get it. He is starting to get a little bit better. Yep. He's starting to realize I've got to call plays to the strengths of the guys on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
We'll see that with Claypool, hopefully.
Yes, and I want to see a lot of. I don't know how much he's going to play on Sunday. I hope he can. I hope he's a master at learning that playbook.
Well, I mean, it's all the same plays. You're still running the same routes. It's just a matter of go. So all you have to do to him is go. Here's in the huddle. Just go. The play is blah 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 blah. You're just doing a deep dig.
Right.
You're doing a deep post. You're doing you're just doing it. This is a mesh concept. Oh, okay, I got it. And then
that's true.
He'll just know what route to
and hopefully him and Justin, I have a feeling we'll be practicing a little extra, trying to get some chemistry this week. So I know that you're picking Miami. The Bears. So what do you think the score is going to be?
Well, that's what I was trying to get into. Is like I thought I had this as a win, and now we're getting into all the trades that they made to make their team better, and then the Bears
they made their team even better. They did.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I'm hoping that Jack Sanborn can at least step up and get make up for if he can get 75% of the tackles that Roquan's been getting, that's going to help the defense.
We'd be golden with that. Yeah, exactly. And it'd be really cool to have a hometown kid in there for the next for the future.
Absolutely.
It would be a lot of
fun. Right next to where we live too. So I mean, it'd be great to see.
Not far from where we live, Lake Zurich, just down Rand Road.
Right,
See, we know where
half an hour away at the most.
You're right. Of course, everybody says Route 12. I still call it Rand Road.
Right.
But yeah, I like to see it. I'm going to be excited to see what happens on Sunday. And
I think that just to finish my thought was that I like I said, I had this as a win. You're right. I'm still going to pick this as a win. I think we can beat these guys. I'm going to go like it'll be a high scoring game though. I'm going to say 28-23 Bears. To write that down.
I could live with that.
Yeah.
I
really put up some points.
That's the other thing they're doing. I was, I always write good and bad in my notes because I take notes every Sunday and stuff. And there was a lot worse bad than good on it. But I had a big star next to, but we're finally scoring points. And most importantly, touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And this, after that Thursday, whatever it was, 7-12 game, when you're down in the red zone, 90% of the game and come up with 7 points. So huge. So I'm, my son even said that. I was like, we couldn't watch the game together, and then he watched it, and he's like, I was curious to what he said. He goes, I can live with losses like this because we're improving. And I said, you're getting it now. Mm-hmm. See, he's young, he wants it now. And I've been there, mm-hmm. I'm just older now and probably exhausted, just can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. But, but that's it. If the Bears keep scoring, we'll work on the defense. We know we got no line. We got some, but we got.
The Commanders game should have been 28 points. I mean, they were in the red zone against the Giants too and couldn't score.
Everybody.
The Packers couldn't score. The Vikings couldn't score. So if you make those touchdowns, this is a fucking different season by a mile.
By a mile for sure. So, but we didn't, and we know where we're at. But I mean, there was seasons, my friend, and you know what I'm talking about, that we went through this and we had no bright tunnel at the end. I mean, no light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. We had no future, and we were just sitting here going, "Oh my God," Right. But now there is. I'm telling people, just be patient. I know somebody wrote one of their comments on my show. I don't care if they're getting better. I want wins. I get it, man. I told them I get it, but we want wins consistently year after year after year. I don't want one and then done for 20 years.
I don't want to be 13-3 and then not make the playoffs for 7 more years.
That's what I mean.
I don't want to be 12-4 and then not make the playoffs for 2 more years. This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Need success. And the only way to do that is to build it through the draft. And by the way, collecting draft picks allows you to add to your quarterback class as many hits as you have the opportunity to. If you have 10 picks in every draft, you could take a flyer on a quarterback in the fourth round and maybe get a Bailey Zappi or something like that you can develop behind Justin Fields to have a quality backup where you're not paying someone $5 million a year to do that.
Like fucking Foles. Yeah.
And then if you do have an injury and then that quarterback looks good, you could end up trading him for a second round pick.
Exactly.
We've seen that happen a lot.
Look at Garofalo. Right. You know, he went in for Brady, and now look at him. You know, he went but now he's back shining again because they're, you know.
What about what's his name from the Packers that had a 5-touchdown game at the end of the season before when they were
Brock?
They were so in the playoffs that they just played this guy because it was like the last game and he had like 5 touchdowns, and then he went on to the Seahawks, and then they drafted Russell Wilson, and then Russell Wilson ended up beating him out in camp, and then they had signed that guy to some huge contract. Maybe he wasn't, maybe he was a free agent, maybe not trade. But the point is that, you know, if you just take your hits on those quarterbacks in the draft when you have the availability to, if you see a Dak Prescott sitting there, or you see a Russell Wilson there in the 3rd round, even though you have a Justin Fields, draft him. You can't guarantee Justin Fields is not going to get injured with his playing style. So the more picks, right.
I mean, look what happened to Teddy Bridgewater. He was really, really good, and that got really hurt with that knee problem. He's never been the same. He's never going to be that caliber what he was before he got hurt. So you have somebody in the background that can just step on in. So you're right. And it allows you so much flexibility. Look at this trade alone. We really lost nothing with this trade, if you look at it, because we didn't have that pick very long. When do we have it? 24 hours?
Right.
So we didn't even get comfortable with it, and it was gone. So it's like, okay.
Well, it wasn't that pick, but I know what you're saying.
With the second round, right?
But they still have a second round pick.
That's right. We do. So
it afforded them the ability to trade a second round pick because they still have
it. And then you've also got free agency. So, you know, I don't know what they're going to go for most in free agency. Offensive line, it's really what the class brings out next year in 2023. We got to wait. You know, you could talk all you want right now. College isn't over. A lot can happen. You know, it's just to see whatever the strongest is what they're going to go after, obviously, in the draft. So, and then they got the money to spend in free agency. So there's no excuse. I mean, I just believe that Poles is smart enough not to go off half-cocked and just spend to spend. I don't.
I love what he's doing. He's again treating the draft picks like gold, and he's coming out and explaining to us what he's doing. He sat there with humility after that Roquan Smith trade and spoke to the public about it.
Yes.
Ryan Pace would have been hiding under his fucking desk.
Well, just like Coach Flus on Sunday after that loss, I watched him. I turned on the press conference in Illinois. I was watching him, and he's breaking down plays and saying this, and I'm like, oh my God. That other bald-headed idiot just blah, 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 saying the same shit all the time.
I'm not even going to get into that. I have zero thought.
Exactly. You know, so it's so refreshing, you know? I mean, so I'm digging this. I'm digging it. You know what? It's cool. It's real cool.
Hey, he outcoached Bill Belichick. I think that's enough said.
You're right. And Bill Belichick, I heard a little brief thing that he has said some nice things. I think one of the guys wrote that he said some nice things about Claypool. So,
and he was also praising Eberflus too. So they gave him a hug after the end of that game. That's not normal.
Yeah, and he doesn't do that. He just doesn't, you know,
especially after a loss.
Shake their hands, you know?
I know. So I
think there's a lot of respect around the league for him. So that, you know, that was something bald headed, you know, wear a visor when I have a bald head. He didn't get that, you know?
It's -8 degrees on. I'm wearing a goddamn visor with a bald head just to show you that I can. Come on. I'm ashamed to wear my visor. I have a very hot head, so in the summer I can't wear a hat. I literally can't wear a hat, and I'm ashamed to wear my fucking visor now because of that guy.
Well, I don't blame you. Although you have hair.
Yeah, but it's just that
I don't know if I've ever seen. Do you have hair?
I have. Yeah, this is like the first time I think I've worn a hat with you.
Oh, okay. Because I saw you Monday in the hat too, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I have a full head of hair.
Yeah, I guess you do. Yeah. So, but
it's just my head gets really hot in the summer, especially.
Well, that's why I assume people wear those. You know.
Yeah, it's because my head can permeate the heat.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out the visor thing. I'm like, What? But I
only
guess
reason why I have to wear one, and now I feel ashamed of wearing one because of him. It sucks.
I love it. Well,
Well,
my
then-
friend, what do you think? We should wrap her up. We're almost on an hour.
We are, and I think we need to get your score prediction because I said 28-23 Bears.
Yeah, I don't like doing this so much, but you say Bears 28-23?
Yeah.
I'm going to flip it. I'm going to say Miami 28, Bears 23.
Okay.
I mean, people out there, if you know me, I always want them to win, but really.
You just aren't as optimistic as me, are you, Lynn?
But then I also have the thought in mind, well, if I go against them, they're going to go, I'll show you, Lynn.
We made a joke about this. 45-0 Patriots.
Yes.
And then they won.
And they won. See?
Oh, I just jinxed it.
We did make a joke about that, and then look what happened. So
no, they won.
You
All
know,
right, 52-0 Dolphins.
See, friends, this is Dan, and that's what I love about him.
Reverse psychology.
He was me. I was him 20 years ago. Now, you get older. You've been watching them forever. They just wear you down.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
But I love them anyways.
Hey, Mac, thanks for joining us, man.
you.
It was good to talk to you again, buddy.
It was nice
Bears
listening.
fan.
Even though we put him down for being a Cincinnati fan. Another great show.
Excellent show, Lynn. I love doing this with you. Absolutely. I could talk
I
Bears
love
with
doing
you
it with you, man.
every show.
And I'm going to be looking for you on Sunday in the stands, okay? So
I'm going to be visitor side, like 30-yard line.
Lower deck or upper?
Right down on the field, third row.
Okay, so lower deck, main deck. Okay, visitor side around 30. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on you.
Around the 30-yard line, third row.
What jersey are you wearing? Or is that too early?
My wife is wearing the 30. She's wearing Peyton. I think I'm wearing Tillman.
Oh, like it.
Yeah. In fact, we just washed it, so I'm going to wear the Tillman. Yeah.
So you've got offense and a defense. I like it. Okay.
Yeah. And I've seen my friends who own these tickets. I've seen them in. Well, then I'm looking for you for sure. You might be able to see me at some point. You might.
Yeah, my son won't be here, so because we can't watch it again this week together. But so I'll be concentrating. When my grandson's here, I can't concentrate on the game as much.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'll be looking for you, but
Dad! I mean, like I said, I could have. I was screaming and yelling at Eli Manning the entire game in the 2007 Bears Giants game. That close. So.
Yes, he heard you.
Easily. Oh yeah, he definitely heard me.
And have you heard back from him yet?
No, I tried to reach out to him on Twitter to see if he would, if he remembered me, if he would join the show.
Come on, Eli, come on, man, we'd have a blast.
Maybe he's watching a few to figure out if he wants to join, and if he sees this one, maybe he will.
Hey, we're cool people, and we ain't going to beat up on you.
I really just want to have him on to apologize for being such a fucking asshole to him. I mean, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. The entire game, one of those obnoxious, belligerent asshole fans that you see in a meme,
Well, you were younger, you were in your 20s, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
30, early 30s. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So we did a lot of stupid stuff back then. Okay, so that's all right.
I didn't mature into a man until my father passed away when I was like 35. So I was still a boy then.
Well, honestly, I don't really think I have matured. So.
That's true. Me either. I guess I could say
what
that.
fun is that? It sucks being an adult. Why mature too?
It does, man. So many things to take care of.
I know.
Including yourself now.
Tell me about it.
All right, Lynn. Well, this is awesome.
It's been great, and bring you home a win, my friend. Okay.
I'm gonna bring you home a win. I promise you.
All right.
Bears 28. No, Bears zip. Yeah. Miami 58.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, seriously. I'm calling 28-23. I'm going to bring you guys home a Bears win. Everyone that's watching this right now, please make sure to check out Bears Country Podcast. Please make sure to check out Lynn at her. In fact, I'll let you plug your own show.
Yes, I'm on Mondays and Fridays on YouTube, and it's called Let's Talk Chicago Bears. So check me out. I'm just as good as when I'm with Dan, sort of.
He's better.
So we both got two really good shows. We do they're a little bit different, both shows. So check us out. You will not be sorry.
You will not be sorry. Trust me. I know that for sure. And make sure you check us out here at Bears Country Podcast too, because we're going to be doing a lot of live stuff during the game this coming Sunday as well.
That's right.
I'll be putting out a lot of shorts and stuff and maybe some videos if we do a tailgate or something. So be sure to check that out too. We love all of you in chat. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes.
And you want to do it on 1, 2, 3? Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Bears.